operational between 7 stations. This resulted in an additional 16-minute journey. But Mr. Wee says once the track is fully repaired, the bottleneck effect will cease. And this will allow Malaysia's LRT service to operate at a 50% capacity, as mandated in the tightened restrictions due to COVID-19. The head-on collision left more than 200 people injured and dozens hospitalized. 2 victims had to undergo brain surgery and another needed cerebral resuscitation. Authorities say driver negligence was the cause of the accident, though further investigations will take place. India's Odisha state will screen 650,000 people for COVID-19 symptoms after they were evacuated from the path of Cyclone Yas. A local official says COVID-19 precautions were observed during the evacuation process and masks were distributed. Odisha and West Bengal are among some of the worst-hit states by the powerful storm. At least 5 people are dead. Tens of thousands of homes have been destroyed. More than 2 million people were evacuated in the 2 states. Authorities have warned it will be a huge challenge to maintain social distancing at shelters against the backdrop of the pandemic.
बुकिंग करी माँकर मो जेजेमा माने वैक्सीन होगा बट माने आज डेट देले किंतु आज एबे आसिक आम फेरिकी जाऊँ कि आज ना एक्सटेंड कर देइछंती बात्या 3 दिन.
Cyclone Yas made landfall yesterday. It carried winds of up to 140 kilometers per hour, bringing heavy rain and high tide to coastal areas in the state. Water gushed into low-lying regions, inundating several villages. Power supply was cut off. Yas has since moved inland towards the state of Jharkhand. It's easing to a deep depression, but is bringing heavy rain. Neha Punia is in New Delhi and she tells us how relief efforts are faring in the wake of the cyclone.
Well, for the last few days, the focus really was on evacuating as many people as possible, and it was a race against time. There were more than 1.5 million people evacuated along India's east coast, many of them in the states of West Bengal and Odisha. But in the aftermath of this cyclone, as it moves northwestwards towards the state of Jharkhand and eventually towards North India, where it's likely to weaken over the next 12 hours, the focus is now shifted to relief operations and rescue operations. We're now seeing thousands of army personnel as well as the National Disaster Response personnel teams on the ground who are rescuing stranded citizens. Many villages, about 1,000 in the state of West Bengal, have been inundated. Many of them have been cut off. And the government there saying about 50,000 people have been rendered homeless in the aftermath of this cyclone. Similarly, in Odisha as well, many coastal regions saw extreme inundation, widespread flooding because of tidal waves that were as high as 14 feet. So the focus, officials say, is on rescuing citizens who are stranded in these regions, getting food and aid to them, ensuring medical aid reaches those people who've suffered any kind of injuries in the aftermath of this cyclone. The government in Odisha also promising free food grains to villagers who've been impacted by this cyclone for the next 1 week. Of course, there was extensive preparation, which is why officials say that the loss to life from this cyclone has been minimal, but it will take several days to ensure that normalcy returns to these regions.
Effects from Cyclone Yas are being felt off the coast of Sri Lanka. It is hindering efforts to put out fires on a container ship burning in the waters near Colombo. Authorities have warned people against picking up debris from the vessel as they may be hazardous. Fire has been raging on board Express Pearl since last Friday, destroying some 80% of the containers it's carrying. Nashana Ashoka Kumara reports on the firefighting efforts.
The major challenge is that the roughness of the sea because of the Yas cyclone of the Bay of Bengal. Sri Lanka Navy and the Sri Lanka Ports Authority have deployed their tugs and Bell helicopters and all other equipment to douse the fire. But still it is going there, according to the latest reports, that the fire has spread closer to the main control room of the ship. Authorities are taking measures to prevent some damages that could cause to the people there, and authorities stated that they issued strong warnings against them not to touch these items because that could be dangerous and because of the heavy chemical situation. And no information has been found about how to tackle this problem because the acidification of the seawater is highly possible with this leak, because we do not know what is the actual situation and what is the amount of leakage or what is the quantity of leakage. Still, investigations are going there, and fishermen have been asked not to go fish in seas near to these areas because of the debris and all other chemical equipment, chemical items and all other substances.
Your Asia Business Update next with Eugenia Lin, including South Korea upgrading its GDP growth forecast to what would be the fastest pace of annual growth in a decade. Later, why the Tokyo Games might be too hot to handle for some athletes.
This Saturday, could rising inflation derail the post-pandemic economic recovery?
Those parts of the market that are more overvalued could easily get hit.
Relooking China's growth model as its population ages.
Chinese babies are not growing into industrial workers in the future.
Plus, how to be a part of the blockchain boom. Saturday on CNA.
Every day, the financial world goes through dramatic rise and falls. We'll track the biggest market movers and show you where the opportunities lie. Get the experts' take on the performance of key indices. Plus all the analysis to help you understand forces driving global economies. The daily business news you need, only on CNA. This segment is brought to you by Xeon Corporation.
This is Game Oji-san. I make YouTube videos. While he does bespoke carpentry, I get up close with a new generation of local craft people.
Whatever it took to become a woodworker, I think I did it.
Starting with a furniture artisan.
If you are a CEO, the desk represents you.
Where I keep all my fingers? Handmade Tales, a brand new series, Sunday on CNA.
This June, Asia's past, present and future comes together. Race to feed the world as scientists, farmers and entrepreneurs solve the impending food crisis. Journalist Yuma Raki unveils the transformation of Japan's social and political identity in Deciphering Japan, and relive the history of the Chinese Communist Party as it marks 100 years of existence. This June on CNA.
He's just looking at us with his eyes wide open. Oh, it's so cute.
I'm Shushan, and in this series, I'll be tracking into hidden parts of Singapore.
Oh my God, treacherous!
To find out what's being done to save our biodiversity.
Every animal plays a significant role.
And if we're running out of time.
It seems that there is an uptrend in number of roadkills.
It's in our nature. Video on demand on CNA.Asia.
Have fun while breaking a sweat on your next visit to Gangnam. Enjoy the weightlessness of bungee fitness, or learn the health benefits of pole dancing. So don't miss the opportunity to feel the burn with the latest workout trends in Korea. Gangnam Insiders Picks, Sunday on CNA. This program is brought to you by the Gangnam-gu office.
In business news, profits at China's industrial firms jumped by 57% in April from a year ago. That's down significantly from March when they almost doubled. The slower pace of growth is due to high commodity